At the beginning, I don't like this camera, too plasticky. But after I try out my first rolls of film, I got very cool looking result.
The picture from Holga is almost like a dream. That's the style I like, more dreamy looking pictures. A lot of blurry pictures.
Who would have thought that one of the world's most in vogue photography styles of the 2010s was born with toy cameras produced in the bygone era of Hong Kong? One was the Diana. The Diana camera was first made in Hong Kong's Kowloon City in 1955. The idea for the camera was simply to make it as a toy or a promotional giveaway item with a retail price of less than $1. The plastic body camera design was cloned and produced non-stop under more than 100 different names for different markets. Manufacturing of the original Diana would stop in the 1970s. But at the time, Hong Kong was at the center of the world's plastic toy production, and soon another plastic toy camera was born.
In Chinese is 侯光. It means good light. I think the founder of the Holga wanted the company have a good, bright future.
The creator of the Holga, Li Ting-mo, had worked at Japanese camera maker Yashica's Hong Kong factory. He set out to develop an affordable camera for consumers on the Chinese mainland. In an interview from 2021, he said he had wanted to succeed in the photography industry, despite not having access to precision machines like he had at Yashica.
We cannot make high-class camera, but we can only make the simple camera, plastic camera.
And that is what Li did. The Holga camera was launched in 1982. It was 99% plastic. In mainland China, 35mm film had become more readily available, so people did not show much interest in the Holga, which uses 120mm film. The camera turned out to be too rudimentary, even for China's emerging amateur photographers. Then, on the other side of the world, a group of analog photography enthusiasts in Austria got their hands on the Holga.
Wow, they found it very, very special.
They organized touring exhibits of pictures made with low-tag and low-fidelity cameras, soon building an enormous following. They then created their own company.
Lomography was founded in 1992 by a group of Viennese students in Vienna, Austria. With the more sophisticated photographic system, the photo usually come out perfect. Yeah, everything is crisp, perfect color, perfect lighting. And I think what drives people to Lomography is that they will experience a lot of excitement.
Lomography, a style of pop photography that uses lo-fi methods and quirky equipment to create one-of-a-kind, unpredictable results.
The approach is so different. Some photos are blurry, colors are very saturated, some are underexposed, can't see anything, but it's a very interesting way of photography. So it became a movement.
The company and socio-cultural movement got its name from the Lomo LCA compact camera from the former Soviet Union. It's a crazy story that at one point involved current Russian President Vladimir Putin, then the vice mayor of St. Petersburg, who gave the order to resume manufacturing of the camera at the Lomo factory in his city. The cult grew, and the toy cameras from Hong Kong with their imperfections became some of the Lomographers' favorites.
Emotionally, it feels more real. Yeah, maybe not visually. Visually, if you have a very clear image, of course there are more details, but emotionally, it doesn't, maybe it doesn't feel real. Yeah, maybe with the dreamy and blurry image, it's actually more accurate to our memory. We don't remember things clearly. Yeah, if you think about it, we remember things in a blurry way, in a dreamy way. Yeah.
I suppose one of the curious things about the quality is that they are both high quality and low quality. So you have quite a crisp focus in the center of the picture, but a kind of fuzzy perimeter around the outside of the picture, and even vignetting with the use of dark patches around the edge. Lo-fi, or what some people call poor photography, has its own quality. Personally, I quite like photographs that are quite pixelated. It has something of an impressionistic quality.
Second-hand Dianas were getting difficult to find, and by the end of the 2000s, more than 200,000 Holgas were being sold each year. Lomography became a highly profitable enterprise with stores and some 1 million followers around the world. At some point, it distributed the Holga, and in 2007, it launched a nostalgic replica of the classic 1960s Diana, the Diana Plus.
This is the original Diana app. And this is the new one.
At around the same time, online image sharing social networks were forming.
People always look for something different visually. So I think the hypsomatic filter provided this look that looks different from other pictures and sort of replicate the Holga look, and maybe more cliche way of saying is more arty.
Hipstamatic for the iPhone was launched in 2009. The next year, Instagram's co-founder was inspired by Holga for his photo-sharing platform.
If you haven't seen a Holga, it's like a toy camera. It's got a plastic lens and like light leaks into the side of it if you're not careful.
Everyone now had access to the retro photography aesthetics. It was these washed-out, heavy vignetted, square images that millennials choose to present and communicate about their lives.
The Holga format 6x6 frame is interestingly linked to the most famous photojournalist camera of the 20th century, really, which was the Rolleiflex. So the Holga is linked to this very clear history of photojournalism and documentary of people recording everyday life. And there's something about that format of the square frame that is historically linked to reportage photography and that long tradition. It has a precursor in that history which makes it significant and important that it re-emerges at the beginning of the 21st century in such a popular way.
However, Holga's fortunes started to turn. Some have blamed Instagram for ruining Holga, while others believe Holga's demise was related to the bankruptcy of photography giant Kodak in 2012, which made it harder to find affordable film. In 2015, Holga production ended when its factory in China's Guangdong province shut down. The born digital Gen Z left the millennial toy camera look behind. They moved on by reverting to digital point-and-shoot cameras. At this market stall in the capital of China's Guangdong province, younger photographers have been snapping up older photo gear as they tap into the trend.
I think every era has its own nostalgia.
Kodak has resurrected its film production, and Lomography also still innovates its film stock.
Actually, we just launched a new film called Lomochrome Color 92.
This brand new film is a reference to the year Lomography started. It is a nostalgic, grainy film mimicking the aesthetic of the early 90s.
The camera we use today is a Hong Kong brand camera called Holga 120WPC. The real analog camera. It's very tangible, very 3D, very touchable. We are at Time Flies Slow with Film in Tsim Sha Tsui, a film lab in Hong Kong. And we're open for around 3 years. We mainly do film processing and selling some film photography equipment. So all available color, black and white slides. And then we have some very good looking vintage camera from the old time. This camera is very special. It's from Holga. It is a 110 camera with a very small film at the back. I bought this from online second-hand platform. If it is not photography enthusiast, you won't know where to get such a camera.
So while Holga has disappeared from the public eye and the original Diana has become a museum piece, the cameras were creative forces that inspired photographers around the world and contributed to the analog revival.
I think historically we can see that as an important, in a way, resistance, what people would call the dematerialization of culture, that the tactile things, the things we touch in everyday life were beginning to disappear into computers. And so it really represents that history of maybe not opposition to digital culture, but a kind of alternative to it.
A combination of vintage filters in smartphones, apps and photo sharing platforms helped spread the retro aesthetic trend. But the iconic looks created by the Diana and Holga have now mostly disappeared. In the history of photography, new technological developments often provide a basis for new forms of imagery. But the Diana and the Holga aesthetic lingered on as part of the fascination with low-tech and lo-fi in the early 21st century. In a world obsessed with perfection and high-tech innovations, the humble cameras with their retro photography aesthetic have left a mark on popular culture.
1 meter around here. Okay. 1, 2, 3.